Hi, I'm Richie Mackay.
And I'm Davey Bolt, and you are listening to the Wrongbias podcast.
And on show 65, we are joined by the current World Indoor Singles Champion, Rob Paxton. We touch on Rob's Potters success, the recent UK Open, and the Home International Series over in Belfast. Rob also opens up on his biggest battle within the sport. As always, thanks to Greengage and all our other partners for their kind support. Bolty International, Rent and Wealth Management, Jack and Ball, Pentland Precast, Ultra Balls, and how can we forget our pocket rocket, Miss Jacqueline Henderson. Thanks for all your support and hope you enjoyed the show. And here we are again, another podcast. It's been a while, show 65, and a little chat with Rob Paxton coming up. We hope you enjoyed. Been loads going on, mate. You've had a bad neck.
Oh, bad neck.
Still got a bad neck.
We're getting there slowly, mate. We're getting there slowly.
UK Open, obviously you Chesterton, which I might touch on with Rob, but I must admit the club was great. First time I'd been to it. Set up, everything ran really well. Congrats to Nick. I don't know who got the most pat on the back. Nicky up for Mark Dawes for finding the trophy after 4 years.
Did he still have it, did he?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they got a new one or what, but it was 4 years. Said it's the last time it got it because it was at Stanley, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, we were there, weren't we?
Because we streamed the qualifiers, yeah. So well done to Nicky. And we also streamed the GBB Premier League for JP at St Neots in Glasgow, and both venues went off really well. The feedback's been great, and hats off to all the clubs for buying the idea with the shirts and what have you, mate.
Absolutely, and I was gutted to miss it myself. I was on the sick bed, so next time, hopefully.
We look forward to seeing where it goes next season with it. We probably will touch on the Home International Series at Belfast, but big shout out to the umpire, Mr. Bright.
Best umpire I've ever met in my life. I tell you now what it is, considering the situation, considering he had 30-odd Scots looking over his shoulder, he had 20-odd Englishmen looking over his shoulder. He had half the Irish team looking over his shoulder. Solid as a rock. Went in there with the calipers. I don't even know what they were measuring for. There was about 4 inches in it.
Did he chase them away from the head or not? Or were they just all crowded around it?
I don't know, Richard. Do you know what it is? I said to you the other day, I was gutted because I had my phone in my pocket because I always put my phone in my little aero carrier thing with my balls. And normally I'd jump all over. I did it last time when we were up in Scotland and won a series. I covered it with video. And I wish I'd just jumped on and just videoed that last part, but no, I don't think anybody was chased away, to be honest with you. He went in and just did what was needed, and the result went to us. I think it was fine margins. I knew we had it after he'd done, obviously he went to the first ball, go to the second ball, and when he got to the second ball, I saw Rob giving punch in the air, so I knew he must have seen the calipers going through pretty easy. So no, it was great. It was a fantastic finish to a fantastic series, man.
Yeah, and long may the six-rink format continue indoors. Congratulations to the England lasses and to both the under-25 teams as well for winning the series.
And our British Isles winners as well. Sean in the women's singles, Sammy won the fours, and Charlie Beaton won the under-25.
Under-25, yeah. So well done to them.
Right, and on today's show, we did see on stream and during the week, we had a special guest on this week, and who better than the current reigning world champion, Mr. Rob Paxton. Hello, Rob. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, guys. How's you two?
Living the dream, mate. Living the dream.
Calm down from the internationals last week yet, and Davey, or not?
Every day is a Mardi Gras, Rob. Every day. Yeah, it was. I'm going to touch. We'll touch on that later on. Didn't you start asking me the questions, man? I'm the one who asked the questions on this show.
I thought that's how it went. That's what Richie told me.
Because
anyway.
you won the World Championship, didn't it? Start bossing our podcast. Great to have you on. Let's go about the World Championships, mate. We'll start with the logistics of it first, I think. Obviously, new surface went down. What was your initial thoughts when you first went in there and had your first practice?
Yeah, so it's great this year. So brand new surface, flooring, carpet, underlay, the full works. And at the start, it was absolutely flying. Really quick, really bendy. And then after a week or so, it did slow down a little bit and got back to its old sort of regime, the way it played, but without the runs in it. So yeah, nothing wrong with the carpet this year at all. If you chucked them close, it was down to you. If you didn't, it was your own fault.
You can handle whatever speed it is as long as you can play the shots. It's like that's why we've got different models of balls, because if it's a bit slow, you can go to something a little bit swingy. And obviously, from your point of view, you took, I think, in my eyes, made a great move last year. Obviously, I mean, that's how consistent you are. The runner-up the year before and win it this year. But when the green was quite tricky last year, you went to boomerangs, didn't you? Which basically overran a lot of the hangs.
Yeah, let's say last year it was difficult, easiest way to put it. And so I went to bendiest bowl drakes I've ever made, Professional Plus, to get out over the runs in it, and it worked this year. Started off with a normal professional, which most people started off with, the mid-bias bowls, sort of aces, professionals, that type of thing, and then went out to the XPs, and hence like boys like Paul went out to the Tigers, internationals and that for Taylors. So yeah, it got back to its sort of old regime, the way it used to run. And again, it's just hard playing those little timing shots on. So it goes to that almost draw or go reasonably firm.
Yeah, and when we were there, obviously in the pairs, I loaned Wayne's Revolutions because it was just too quick. It was, I'm sure Jason said 21 seconds initially, or just over 20 seconds anyway, and it was just too big for the grooves that I normally use. So I went with the Revolutions, and then obviously as I watched as the tournament grew on, I just saw everybody started to go to Tigers and grooves, and I'm like, where's that come from? And the next thing I know, I think they were talking about it dropped to about 16.8 seconds or something, which was quite a considerable drop over a short period of time. But obviously I think you've got to take into account it's a single rink, so it's just getting pounded constantly, so it is just going to get slacker and slacker.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Being a single rink, you thought it had kept the pace better than a larger green. Being a single rink, you thought get it tight and it should stay reasonable. Yeah, it's in use a lot over sort of 2.5 weeks of play, but to drop 3 or 4 seconds, pretty much what it did, it's a big drop in 2 weeks.
It is, and it's, I suppose in some respects it's about adapting. At the time we know what happens, but like I say, it was quite a shock as to how much it had dropped. But as long as we've said, as long as it still enables you to play the shots, then it's not too bad. So obviously you went into the tournament, you had the mixed, you had the pairs, and then obviously you had the great run in the singles. At what point, or was it from straight away, did you feel, I'm in really good nick here, I'm finding the rink all right? What was the thoughts going through your mind?
Oh, pairs, to be honest, with Jason and the mix with Catherine. Form was poor, wasn't good at all. No real confidence, wasn't really finding it a great deal. And then got fortunate with the first round draw, really, especially probably playing Malcolm D'Souza. He lost a qualifier, then played Israel in the end in the first round, which gives you a bit of a nicer draw. So you sort of go out, find a bit of form in that game, and then just go on from there. Decent game against Merv, and each game just sort of improved all the way through. And it was just match practice, really. And that was the thing. Time on the rink, match practice, as you know, that's the key, isn't it?
And that's it. Did you find that, obviously, we talk about this a lot. It's not always about, we've seen some players go in there early doors and are absolutely just creaming, just kind of miss on the rink. They're just banging balls in for fun, and then just gradually their form tapers off. I always think those players who really, really sort of just build themselves steadily into the tournament are generally the ones that are there at the latter stages.
Yeah, you've got to, one thing I've said all the way along, not just this year, every year when you get deeper in the tournament, you've got to improve round after round. If you come out the blocks first, second round and play 95%, then the likelihood is the round after that, you're going to drop off a bit and probably go out. You've got to keep building all the way through. That's the same as any tournament player. You ask any good player, you build throughout the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Paul was red hot the majority of the time that we were down there. From what I saw from some of his games, he just seemed to get onto that little minimum length that he likes to play and peppered it really well. Was the point in the final? Was the thoughts during that final about the previous year and how close you'd come the previous year? I know Jason played really well in that final, but you'd got there, runner-up last year. Do those type of things sort of play in your mind, or do you just completely focus on this is just the game I've got to win and last year's gone?
Yeah, I think first set sort of 11-6 down or whatever, you sort of think, possibly here we go again sort of thing. But you think that for 10 seconds, then you just get on with the next bowl in hand. You know what it's like. You've played top level bowls as well, international world levels, so you know what it's like in finals and everything like that. You're so dedicated to the game and your concentration is just absolutely solid. You just get on with what's in hand. Yeah, you have the occasional thought, say 11-6 down or whatever it was, 11-3 down in the first set. You sort of, okay, here we go again, just relax and completely change changed my game plan as well, because my first 2 bowls have been really good throughout the tournament, but against Paul I couldn't find them. So probably midway through that first set I was like, I've got to hit well, go earlier, hit well, play more attacking bowls, and I think that's what I did. And whether it upset a little bit, I got some good results, which got me back into the set as well. So yeah, it's a completely game change plan, which is not what I'd normally do.
Yeah, and you did. I mean, like you say, your attacking balls and your big balls, as you call them, the ones that get you out the rubbish, or the ones that turn the heads around. You played a lot of them throughout the whole tournament, and it was funny, obviously, you're saying that with your game plan changing, because I don't think Paul was quite as on the button as he had been in previous rounds with his first 2 balls. Neither he was just, it seemed, and tell us if I'm wrong, it seems you were having a little bit of a chat about, was there a drop in temperature and a bit of fluctuation in the speed of the green during the final?
Yeah, I mean, like as you said earlier, Paul's is phenomenal. I mean, that pairs final is just scarily good. And he was all the way through. But yeah, both of us just sort of scratched a little bit first 2 bowls, or throughout the whole game, really. It wasn't the prettiest of matches. But I think it was the same old story there. It was hotter in there, and the hotter the venue get, the narrower the lines get. So the narrower they are, the trickier they are. And I think both of us just caught out between that inside-outside line, which people that have played there, that are listening, obviously know what it's like. But you get 2 lines. You get a heavier line and a quicker line. And that wider line that we've both been on all the way through wasn't there for the final. We were hitting that inside line and dropping short, finishing inside the line, getting out, then heavy. The amount of bowls that were probably 18 inches away through that final was well into double figures, I'd say.
Yeah, and like I say, I think there's a lot of factors that come into that. And anybody who's watching who don't understand that, it's very nice to be able to walk out there and just pepper all the time and put loads of balls around the jack. But I think the way the game actually built up, it just ended up being a bit of a blockbuster final, because it was just topsy-turvy, big balls played at the big times, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be side touch or back touch, the big draw balls all the way through a match to be a fantastic game. And the amount of people who turn around and said, did you watch the final? It was a fantastic game. And then obviously you talk about it from a personal point of view and say that you both scratched, just sort of, it's scratching, scratch is a sort of a strong word to use, because the consistency levels are still very much there, but you both know you probably played better through the tournament than you did in the final, and that's circumstance.
It was probably our worst game of singles, both of us in the final, of consistency wise. But as you say, because it was real punch for punch, basically blow for blow throughout, for entertainment value, I'd say it's probably one of the best finals ever, and that's coming from 2 of the seasoned officials on the tour as well. Francis, who marked the final, said best final he's ever been involved in, just because of the way that it went.
And it was one of them scenarios that I say all the time, being able to find a game when you're not right on top of your game. The best players find ways to win when they're not playing at their best, and I've always said that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was just a really, really sort of edge of your seat watching each ball come, because you just didn't know what was going to happen next, and it was a great final.
I tried to do a bit of research on you, Rob, and it came up and it said that you were born in 1932. And I'm going, by that, maybe your cream working well. And then I'm saying, you're not an American scientist, are you?
No, definitely not.
Definitely
Far
not.
from that. Christ, you need brain cells for that.
Anyway, your first win at Potters 2020, is that right?
Singles, yeah.
Singles, yeah. Who did you play the first round? Can you remember?
First round 2020. It was Craig Remington.
He's there, lad. He's there. South Africa. I'll trip him over on that one. Top man, lad.
Playing first set down, played my last bowl, won it, and he had a bowl to win the second set with his last bowl and missed it.
And your first appearance in the singles, 2006?
Yeah.
Lost in the final, 2 unseeded players.
Spanish, yeah. I lost to Mervyn and...
Yeah. Any memories of that, mate?
Plenty of memories, yeah. I say that year really good. I played Paul in the quarters, actually. First time I ever played Paul. He was defending champion and pinned the jack on I think it was tie break or whatever to win the game. But yeah, first experience there, getting to the semi was immense. And I think the other was Jamie Hill and Greg Harlow, if I remember.
Yeah. Were you nervous? Was that your first appearance on the blue carpet or?
No, second actually. I qualified first year. They ran the pairs qualifiers.
Right.
I think which might have been a couple of years prior to that. Qualified with a guy called Simon Stevens, who Bolty will obviously know. Used to play nationals with Ian Bond and that Bondy down our way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first time. Lost to Holt and Alcock. He then won and won it.
David Holt, was it? Lancashire. But he beat me in the under 25s outdoors. That shows how old I am, mate.
Well, I didn't think he was that old.
David.
Christ. Well, he's aged better than you, have I?
Yeah.
Anyway, you hit the ranking list. My question is, you obviously cemented there for I think you cemented there for a good 5, 6, 7, 8 years at the minute. If ever you drop out, would you try to get back in, or would you say, no, I've had me crack?
I'd like to do both in a way. With where I am game wise at the moment, life has changed so much for me over the last 3 or 4 years. I don't think I want those long weekends away trying to put 5, 6 games in a day. But I'd also miss it because I used to love the qualifiers. Those qualifying days were really good, sociable, fun, enjoying, but hard work.
Yeah, they
And it's
are, Rob.
almost,
They're really good.
yeah,
Really, really good.
I bet you love it, don't you? But the social side there is really good as well. And that's the thing, the atmosphere, you get so many friendships and all that those days out. But yeah, I probably would finish on a high and go, that's me done. Because I'm getting close to 60 by then in 8 years. So
Well, by my Googling, you'd be 103.
And still practicing science.
Yes, doing science. Aye. One target for you next year, mate, to retain it. 17 years since somebody's retained it.
well, I mean, that would be first target. Don't get blown away in the first round.
Well, that's that. Yeah.
That's the first one. But it's game at a time. I mean, target to retain it would be nice, but I'm not sure if that would be nice for all 3 finals on the trot, because I don't know if that's been done or not. I suspect it probably has, but yeah, to do those at the same time would be, well, out of the world, really.
Do you think the fact that Alex was the last one to do it all that time ago just shows how hard it is to win back-to-back titles?
I mean, it's just, you've just got to look at the quality of players that are on the tour and the qualifiers that are coming through. And these days, it's hard to win a game, let alone the tournament, and go back to back. I mean, massive effort. I mean, Jason obviously did a great effort this year, got back to the semis after winning it last year. But say to go 10 games on the trot on the portable rink at Potters is hard work.
I'd just take a couple of wins down there. Never mind 2 world titles. It's another story. The UK Open, obviously, you're world champion. Did you walk in there feeling you had a target on your back, or was it just business as usual?
Definitely nervy first game. Obviously overseas qualifier as well. That was a really nervy game, actually, even against a, say, overseas qualifier, but came out, had a good result. So then it was sort of back on the wagon and just go for what's normal.
What added a little bit of excitement to the tournament as well, there was 3 or 4 players had potential to break into that top 16 as well. So that put a bit of edge on the tournament and a bit of edge on some of the games. Quarters or semis, you got 2 in the UK.
Semi, yeah.
Semi, I thought it was.
Yeah, decided to lose to some ginger bloke.
Oh, that one who managed to win it, yeah.
Yeah.
Got to say congratulations to Mr. Brett while we're on there. I'm sure Richie would have probably done it later on, but congratulations to Nicky on winning the UK Open. But venue, mate, I think Cambridge Chesterton's fantastic venue.
Oh yeah, first time I've been there. I mean, what a job they've done as a club, not just hosting the tournament, but throughout for the last sort of 8 years really, since sort of pre-COVID and all that. They've done an immense job there. Such a good club. Members are really nice, kind, friendly, do so much work there as well. Yeah. So it was a roaring success, the event at Cambridge Chesterton there. So, so I think it's another 3-year deal. So another 2 years pretty much signed on the dotted line already.
Yeah, it's good on them. And like I say, I knew about Cambridge. Obviously, my development officer down in the East, Annie Dunham, she worked with the club a lot. And you know what it is? They're just another one of those clubs in this country that just show that a little bit of organisation, ambition, proactiveness and just getting your hands dirty can absolutely reap reward. They used it as a COVID unit, so just thinking outside the boxes. You know, it's not just a bowls club. What else can we use it for?
With that one, with the COVID, they were handing out leaflets for all the people that are coming in for the jabs to come and join the club next year. And I think they gained sort of 300 members.
Absolutely.
I mean, for doing what? Nothing. Easy.
Yeah, and purely and simply for just getting themselves out there, because as we talk about with loads of clubs, you know, sometimes the bowls isn't always the priority. It's getting people through the doors and letting them understand what facilities we've actually got in this country. And you know, White Knights, phenomenal club. You know, I'm not going to name them all, but you know, there's just clubs across the country who are just continually striving to do better things. And you know, there's a lot of clubs also out there that should be looking at these clubs and saying, how can we get to that level? Because great hosts, great committee, forward-thinking club. And I know, talking to Paul when he come back from the UK Open, he just says, do you know what it is? From walking through the door to everything within the club, he says it was just the organisation was great, it was immaculate, people there to help all over the place, and that's all you want for these tournaments, really. So massive credit. So moving on from Cambridge Chesterton, it's been a very, very busy period since turn of the year, and then obviously we've just been in Belfast for the series. which when some idiot was left on the green with a ball in his hand to win the match, but decided to leave it for the umpire. I don't know who that was. Was it you, Rob?
Yeah, well, it was always ours.
Christ, you had 18 inches. Put us all out of misery.
Adds a bit of excitement to it, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, what a finish to the series, eh? So, lunchtime Friday, we're down in the doldrums in the change room, blowing it, losing to Scotland, but then Wales obviously put in a massive performance, thankfully. And credit to them. I mean, the last 2 years they've beaten all the nations now, so they're obviously on a rise as well, which is great. Great to see them coming back and putting some performances in.
And I said this, Rob, and I said, do you know what it is? Touching on something that David Phillips said at the end, which I completely agree with, and he stood there in front of all of us and he says, this might be an unpopular opinion. However, I will always stick by the fact that a 6-ring series is the best format of international bowls that you will ever have. I agree. I love it. I think to have played sort of 3 matches, 63 ends, every single one of them rinks, so what's that, 375 ends or something across the 3 games, to then come down to a caliper measure to win the series, is just, you cannot replicate it. I mean, it's like, as daft as it sounds, we probably celebrated as much for that, winning that measure to win that series, as what I've probably celebrated winning a national title before. It's a different feeling, it's a different atmosphere, it's just 4 teams just going hammer and tong at each other, and you're looking across the greens, and you're looking at the pinnacle of, obviously, the British Isles. You're seeing the majority of players who's on the TV. You're seeing the majority of players who's competing at the top level all the time. And it's just a fantastic experience. And, you know, I feel lucky to be a part of it. It's just really, really amazing. And I think the best part about it is I genuinely feel that England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales are now starting to just sort of level up a little bit. Let's be honest. You look at the records and it's England, Scotland for years and years and years, and I think Wales upset the apple cart back in the 90s. I think it was. You know, when you get to that stage, it's like, it's a bit monotonous. It's either one or the other. It's always the last game, England, Scotland. That didn't happen this year because we had a poor run last year, and then obviously played Scotland in that second game. And I think that possibly just added to the excitement of the whole thing. Because if we'd played Scotland in that last game, formed or got the result that we did, it would have probably been a damp squib for the last 5-6 ends because the game had pretty much sort of petered out, and they controlled it from that point of view. Great experience. Congratulations, obviously, to yourself as well, Rob. I don't know how many people know, but you obviously got player of the series for England as well, which was fantastic. Still think you could have drawn that last ball within 18 inches, but you've obviously paid somebody to give you that trophy.
It's only about 12 inch.
No.
I mean, going on the 6-ring series, I'm the same as you. You can't beat that atmosphere as a team. I mean, I can see why they've done the outdoors and swapped it to sort of Commonwealth World format for the home nations to get in practice for these events and everything like that. But you just don't get the same, for me, you just don't get the same atmosphere through a team. You've got a squad of 7 or 8 and that's it. So it's a little group of you. It's not, you haven't got a squad of 26. Plus, then you haven't got the chance of bringing youngsters through. How do you get into those teams unless you really perform at this level with 6 rinks? I mean, I think Wales had a 14-year-old come into the ranks and play in this series. So, I mean, that's the outdoors. He's probably waiting another 10 or 12 years to potentially get in.
There is exactly that, Rob, and I'll never diss the new format. We've got the top 10, top 11, whatever it is, because, you hear good reports back of that about how it's good. You're backing each other all the way through it. So there's a place for it, but at the expense of a 6-ring series, that's where my sort of opinion lies. I just don't think it replaces that series. And I know Richie's extremely pro 6-ring series, always has been. It's, Richie, you sat there and you said you were just continually pressing the refresh button on the computer, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I was trying to keep up with the scores, and it's I think like you both said, you cannot beat a 6-ring series. It's like the Holy Grail. The Home International Series, like the Holy Grail of bowls. You know what I mean? Your Middleton Cups outdoors, your Liberty Trophy indoor. Question for you, Rob.
Yeah.
Were you more nervous playing the winning ball in the World Championships, or more nervous standing on the mat with that ball in the Home International Series?
Oh, series all day long.
Series?
Absolutely, yeah. Because you got 25 blokes about to kill you if you miss it. So, absolutely. Because with the singles in the world, obviously it's a world title and it's absolutely huge, but it's on your back, isn't it? With that, you're not playing for yourself, you're playing for your whole team, aren't you? So, and management, the whole squad. So definitely. I've never wanted to be playing the last bowl in a series to try and get over the line. I thought, always leave it to the good skips like the Colt Child of Bolt, someone like that. But it happened at the right time. So, and that's done, so I'll make sure I get off early next year.
Did you fancy you were shot?
I never looked at it.
Did you
Never
not?
looked at it at all. No, I
Did
didn't want to
anybody
get
fancy?
involved in that.
Did any of the ring fancy you were shot or not?
Our lot fancied it, and so did the Irish lot. I think the ones that looked at it, especially their lead. He signalled up actually to a couple that one down sort of thing. But I had nothing to lose last bowl because I couldn't give it away. But I was just obviously rather heavy, apparently.
Flying.
Peep peep.
Oh, honestly, I tell you, people were lifting their ankles, man. It was going to smash their ankles. No, I'll give you credit. You went 19 inches through. But no, you know what it is, and I think you touched on it there. I think what's special about it is the fact that you're not just playing for you. You're not just playing for your rink. You're playing for those other 20 players across the green. So every shot and every thought and every decision that's made isn't just made about are you going to win in your rink. It's made based on, well, what happens, you know, you're looking across and, well, Jamie's lying pretty well over there, or Sam's lying pretty well over there, or Nicky's in the crap here, you know, we need to make sure we're doing it. If Nicky doesn't get this, he might be dropping a 3 here. If we drop this 2, there's 5 on the ball gone. And it's all those emotions that go through your mind, and it's probably the only scenario where you're sort of quite comfortable to lose a game as long as you lose it in the right way and the rest of the team get you over the thing, because it's easy to be selfish and try and win your rink. This is why I lost 2 this year, because I'm thinking about the team all the time. Shut up, Richie. And a few things happened in that last game. Nicky was down next door to us. He was down in the game. We were down in the game. Sammy was down in the game, but you guys were up. And then there was a little bit of a flip in the game where Gary Kelly started to play some massive balls against Jamie, and their score flipped over. But then we started to claw back our game. Nicky started to claw back his game.
Sam came back as well. Yeah.
And it was just, like I said, the crazy thing was I was so entrenched in our game. I actually said to the lads, I went, what's all the Scottish supporters doing standing behind our at the top of the balcony at the bar? And they were like, it's not the Scottish supporters, man, it's the Scottish players. They're finished. And I'm like, they got beat. And I didn't have a clue they got beat. I knew they were down, but I didn't realise that they'd actually finished and they were all watching our game.
Yeah, when I went back to play my first bowl on that last end, I've sort of walked back, turned round, looked up, and you couldn't move up the top. All the way down the side and the back was just completely immense for players. And that's where the nerves come in. Big time. Thankfully, I found one on that end. But as you say, it's like talking with Sam on his last end. He had a chance to play a potential plant for a couple, but it could have gone wrong and he could have dropped an extra shot. That changes the whole scenario of the game. So it's like, Sam, you concede your 1, then we've just got to win the end. It's simple. If you drop a 2, we've then got to find an extra shot. So that changes the whole scenario of the game. So it's sort of working together, playing as a team. And that's what the sport's about, isn't it? Being part of that and just looking at the overall board. If you win your rink, bonus. If you win overall, that's your goal.
It is. And you know something, you hear people all the time saying, I can't believe it's not being streamed. It's the pinnacle of our game. This year, the games we want to watch. Look, Richie will tell you as much as anybody, and we've seen it before. Fours games are an absolute nightmare to try and stream. They're impossible. Everybody's in the way. It becomes a bit of you're trying to dodge in between cameras. I mean, Richie's great with being able to switch, but there's only so many times you can do it when somebody's straight over the top. So, on that basis, this is one of those events where I would just say to anybody, look, we know it's costs. We know it might be up in Scotland one year, it's in England the next style, and whatever it is. But if you get the opportunity to actually go to an international series, then don't wait for it being on a stream. If you can do it, go to an international series, because especially the last day, whatever the situation is, if it goes down that last game, you'll never replicate. And having been up at Stanley when there was something like 850 people in there, it was like a sauna. The green was running at 21 seconds. You stand on the mat, you've just dropped 2 logs in your pants, you're trying to grip onto your ball because you're sweating like a pig, and it's like you lose all ability in your limbs in the situation, because it matters so much to so many people. And you've got Scots Barrack in here, you've got the English saying it's a phenomenal experience, and I cannot recommend to anybody enough that if you get that opportunity to go and watch a series in person, go and watch it, because who knows how long it's going to last. It could disappear just like the outdoors, and you'll never get that chance again. So next year it's in Scotland, I believe. Get that chance.
I suppose that's the scary thing with the good thing that's going to probably happen with the two bodies joining forces. Obviously, it's going to be good for funding, you'd have thought, in the long run. But what's going to happen with the indoor series? Is that going to go down the same lines, or is it going to stay? I think it'll be down to the home countries as well. So I think they'll want to keep the 6 rinks, to be fair, the other home nations. But
and why not? At the end of the day, it's great that the indoors has kept the 6 rink because it does give that variation. So, keep the 6 rink indoors. If you don't want to have it outdoors, that's fine. Commonwealth Games is generally outdoors, so it suits more the outdoor series to be in that format because that's the big build-up as we know to get to that, the big event. Indoors, we ain't got an indoor. Yes, it's happening this year, but that's through circumstance. Indoors is an indoor product. Keep the indoor product. Keep what is a phenomenal event in bowls because yes, it's costly. We need to find some more sponsors. Whatever it is, we need to keep that 6 ring series, and I'll say that all day long. Last thing for me is just touching back onto that moment in time that we talked about before. The very, very rare thing where I win down at Potters. I'd be extremely embarrassed, Rob, to be honest with you, because nobody loses to Davy Bolton at Potters. But this was a really, really key time, and the reason I want to bring it up is because it was an incredibly tough time for you, but it was also, in my opinion, a really real strength that you had as well to actually come through that period of time where you were having a bit of a struggle in the game. And I think I played you just as you were coming out of it. I think if I'm right,
what year was that? Was it 3 or 4 years ago we played? Can you remember?
Possibly about 4, I think, Rob. And I know you've been going through a really tough time. And then I played you, but you were I don't think it had completely rectified itself.
Fully. Yeah.
You were, miles from where you were. And like I say, if you don't like talking about it, don't mind. But the reason I want to bring it up is because I recommended somebody to actually have a chat with you, and I'll not mention his name. You'll probably know who it is because I'd said have a chat with Rob. But that's taken real strength for you to go and come through that scenario. And I'm presuming this is what you're talking about your life, how it's changed over the last few years. How much did that really, really affect you, Robert?
Oh, I mean, I've played games back here, just league games or competitions, just things like that, just minor stuff, and not being able to get a bowl out of my hand and almost wanting to throw it over a hedge, but I couldn't let the bugger go. It was literally that bad. I can't put a finger on when it started, but it was 2000, could have been 2008, 9, something like not that, 19, sorry, 18, 19, something like that. And I just learned to try and deal with it on the green. You try and get through it. I did a lot of hypnotherapy, things like that. I tried all sorts, and then life changes, things like that, which makes you happy. It was never inside bowls for me. It was always things outside bowls. And the biggest pressure for me was obviously on the green, because you go on, you're expected to perform. So that's when you tighten up and you get stressed, and that's all it was. And then I mean, I won the mix with Els somehow at Potters. I think that was
Do you think that was a catalyst to the confidence coming back?
No, I was terrible. I had about 5 sessions of hypnotherapy during that tournament. There, haven't got a clue. Then won the singles in 20, somehow still with it, and that then started just to ease out of it. But I never took that for granted. I still had to work and try and focus through it and work at it. And then the last sort of 3 or 4 years, it sort of has pretty much gone. But I've always been open about it, always talked about it. The last few years, I've laughed about it, and I've taken as much mick out myself as anyone will. And that's the way, personally for me, that's the way forward. I know I've spoken to 3 or 4 different people that have suffered, and say if anyone else does, and it's a common thing, I'm easy to get hold of. Drop me a message, give us a call, whatever. I'm happy to talk to anyone about it, because I know how horrible it is.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to chat with it, Rob, because like you say, I knew that's your outlook. I think it's a fantastic one as well, and great to talk about the World Championship wins and things like that. But for me, that is, in my eyes, for you, your biggest achievement, because that could not have been easy. To go from where you were to get to where you are, that takes kahunas like a big massive bulldog. It's like, it's such a hard place to be. And you talk about it, I think Eric Bristow had exactly the same. Eric Bristow, top of the game in his sport, and he literally couldn't let go of a dart towards the end of his career.
I think didn't Stephen Henry finish with that as well, didn't he?
I think so, yeah, I think so. So, and it just, it highlights how much the mental side of our sport is so critical. And it's, you talk about it earlier on about being that last one on the ring, and we joke about it. I can't believe, look, at the end of the day, I stood there and I said, you know what it is? This would be just the icing on the cake for Rob if he was to draw back touchery after just winning the World Championship. You win the series for England. Absolutely phenomenal. ultimately it didn't make any difference. You missed by fractions, which crikey in that thing, it was an amazing effort. But you take yourself back to 6-7 years ago, would you have been standing there waiting to bowl that ball and thinking I'm going to get within 18 inches?
Can you remember a Denny Cup final when we flew over the line against you in the extra end at rugby?
No, Rob, can't remember it at all. Thanks.
Can't remember that one. That extra end, I'm trying to play a blocker, nowhere near getting shot because we had shot, and I still couldn't get it out of my hand. And it's an absolute nightmare. And that was the scenario I was in. I couldn't. And when you're on the back of a team supporting you as well, and playing for a team, it was even worse on that. But yeah, I mean, to get through, I've always said I've had determination in the sport, but not as much as some players. I mean, players like Sam and players like that. I mean, his determination in the sport is absolutely phenomenal. He puts so much time and effort. He'll go here, there, and everywhere, not the country, the world, to succeed, and does succeed. For me, I've always played it as competitive, but not to that extent. The determination to get through what I did, that's certainly probably one of the biggest things in my career, because I've never have won what I've done really since, if I just put the bowls away and given up.
Exactly. And I think it's a really, really key thing as well, because it's easy for people to sit on the sidelines and watch players who are doing the business at the top end, etc., but nobody knows what's happened or what could be happening behind the doors when you're not on that bowling green. Nobody knows what frame of mind you're in, and I've been there. Jason's been on before. We've had this little bit of a conversation before. Mine was nowhere near anything like yours, but I just, because of other things happening in my life, I just sort of fell out of love with the sport. It was, which you'll know yourself, there were times I wasn't bothered whether I played for England, county, club. It was more of a chore for us to play balls than it was to not. And it's, I've still got that hunger. I've got that, I think I've got that nice happy balance now, which you touched on, between life and balls. Balls isn't everything. We'd love to be, would love to be millionaires playing this sport. It's not going to happen. So you've got to balance it right between the quality that you've got in your life and the qualities that you want.
When life's happy, bowls is easy, isn't it?
It is. And it's that psychological thing. It's like when there's so much going on in your head, it's the hardest place in the world to go and play a game of balls. You've got so many things rattling around in that head, because it's, as I say to everyone, it's hand-eye coordination. If your brain's thinking of something else, it ain't telling you around what to do. And that's the simple basics of our sport. Credit you, Rob, and I did want to touch on it because we've never really had the chance to have a chat with you about it. And from my point of view, look, you don't want congratulations for it because it was something that's happened in your life, but huge credit to actually come through that and obviously get to, it must be fantastic to look and say where I was to now being world champion and doing exactly what you're doing. So, huge credit for that.
With just touching on that one again, one of the biggest moments with that was actually the series at Falcon, the first year there, when I, at 16, 17 ends into the Ireland game in the first game. I've said to I ringed him then, and Perry, who's playing 3, look, I'm not playing the next game. I can't play the next game. Get ready. You'll be probably skipping tomorrow. Get ready for it. Came off, told Greg, who was captain at the time, and Tony Horrobin, who was team manager, said, look, I can't play. Getting to the club the following day was extremely hard for embarrassment because of what I was going through. But the amount of players that came up to me, asked if I was okay, see me, just talk to me, that you'll be fine, everything like that was tremendous. And not just your average players, your world-class stars as well from all the home nations. And that meant an awful lot. Something like that it helps put you on the path, because they you go from being embarrassed to actually, hang on, they sort of realise you're going through something. They don't want to see you go through it. And that was a massive turning point.
Because it's at the end of the day, Rob, it's just balls. Human life supersedes balls any day of the week. It's like, if there's anything happens to my family or, anything in the past where my dad went through a bad time, balls just stop instantly. It's like, it does not matter where I am, what I'm doing, what competition I'm due to play in, it stops, because when it boils down to it, life supersedes balls any time of the day. And like I say, I wouldn't expect anything less from those top bowlers. People might have opinions about personalities and how people are on the green and whether they like them or whether they don't, but ultimately it doesn't matter what level we play at this sport. 99.9% of the people who you play against are top guys who would never wish bad on anybody. So, credit to people for that as well. But no, like I say, thanks. I appreciate you talking about that. I'll pass over to Richie. I don't know.
Wish you all the best, Rob. Tremendous what you've had a great season, mate. Cracking singles win. I look forward to seeing you try to win that singles back to back, mate. I'll not put my pound on you because I'm not very good at tipping.
And obviously to you I missed the presentation at Cambridge, your little award for services of bowls. Absolutely fantastic what you've done, and obviously with Davey as well, what you put back in the sports. Phenomenal.
You know, watch the stream, and it was Idiot of the Year. They just put a little sticker on the front of it. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was was very nice. Very nice. Davey knows I don't keep my head above the parapet much. I keep myself very much out of the limelight and what have you. But yeah, it was.
That's down to your looks, but
Well, that is that. They do say I've got the voice for subtitles and the face for radio. Well,
as I said to him when we were on the stream the other day, mate, there is nobody probably has a clue how much Richie's put into this sport over the years. And back to the days of me being at Sunderland, and he used to write a little magazine for charity and written for newspapers, and he's phenomenal. And he'll hate us saying this, but he doesn't always sort of put himself forward in that type of way. But it was great to see the acknowledgement made, because as I've said before, mate, what you do and the travel that you do, and you get that streaming out to people, you probably underestimate how much you change people's lives by being able to watch balls on the telly in the house in your own comfort.
Yeah, it's not just changing people's lives, it's changing the sport for the good, and that's the thing, showing it, getting out there, potential sponsors seeing it and everyone seeing it. I mean, that's what we need, changes the sport. So yeah, keep it going and get down the southwest occasionally.
Yeah, Torquay, mate. I'm coming down to Torquay in April.
Oh yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Blimey.
And, yeah, that's what I said.
Got his passport ready and everything.
That journey's getting longer, as I think. About 10 hours of the crow flies.
Well, Rob, it's been a great chat. I've really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Great to see you, mate.
No
you
problem.
take care.
And you.
See you later on, mate.
Bye.
Well, smashing little chat with Rob Paxton there, obviously delving into his success at Potters. But on the subject of Potters, mate, 20 years ago, can you remember what happened 20 years ago at Potters, mate?
20 years ago at Potters, what year are we on? 2026.
When you beat Kevin Kirkell?
I was going to say that was the year I got to the quarterfinals. And you know, I was actually listening to the chat with Rob and listening to yours two, rattling off what happened 30 years ago. I'm thinking, how on earth do you remember that? I was in a blooming tour card on Sunday. I can't remember who beat us. But I do remember that little run. Played the Hong Kong qualifier, first game. Then I played Kelvin. Yeah. I think it was in the second game.
Yeah.
And I played Mark McMahon, I believe it was, in the third game, and then got beat on a tie-break off Paul Foster in the quarterfinals. And if I'd won that game, I'd have played Ian Bond semi-final. Final that year was Paul against John Price.
Possibly, not sure. I didn't go that far. Can you believe it was 20 years ago, though? When you look back now, 20 years later, do you look back and say, was that my chance?
The biggest problem I had back then, Rich, is I packed in for 2 years. And I was at 22 in the world at that point. So I had a really good year. Now, at the time, it was the top 24. It wasn't the top 16. It was the top 24 actually got through, because I was in at 22 and actually got back the following year as 22nd seed. And I got beat first, back to normal. Got beat first round, but then took 2 years out. And funny enough, touching on what the conversation was with Rob, took 2 years out because my head was battered and I couldn't focus on balls. I was losing matches left, right, and centre. Purely and simply, just had things going on outside of balls that were affecting my game, and I lost all my points at that point. And I think if I'd kept chipping away at that point, I think I'd have probably had a little bit of a better opportunity. But I you know what it is, mate. I've thought about it over and over, and I just think, how many chances now? It's like I ain't getting any younger. These qualifiers are getting harder. I've had my chances. I'll still keep battling on. It is, you know what it is. I think it is probably me one ambition left in the sport. Not necessarily to win a WBT. I'd just love to break in that top 16. Just one season, just for my own peace of mind, for all the hard work and effort that I've put in over the years. I don't know if anybody's got as good a record as me in the PBAs, and that's not blowing me on trumpet. I think I must have qualified on my own back about 8 or 9 times, I think, over the years. So it's not like I haven't put the shifts in. Yeah. And I would just love just 1 year to get that little bit of luck, bit of run, break in, and then just have that chance. It happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll take up chess.
Yeah, well, it's like Paul, isn't it? Mr. the housewife's favourite, or not really the housewife's favourite.
Oh, no, he's not anymore.
No, he's not now.
Not with flashy balls.
No, balls. Oh, he was getting hammered on our stream.
Oh, what's he done? I'm not watching this anymore. I'll come back later on. I'm not watching them flashy balls. Housewife favourite or not.
Give me a migraine then, balls. Give me a migraine. Ethel, have you got any tablets?
I don't care if he is hung like sugar. I'm not watching this.
Aye, but I mean, I feel for Paul because he's had 2 opportunities to break into the top 16. He's now at 17. He needed to beat Nicky and just couldn't get over the line. And of course, Merv beat him at Potters. And speaking of Merv, he broke into the top 16, 1993, roughly. So 32 years later, the lad's still at 16. But it just shows, the longevity of the kid. Class on the grass, mate.
He played well against Paul down at Cambridge. Paul sort of found a way to win that game, I feel, because Merv probably had the better balls to suit the rink. But he played well at Potters. So yeah, at the end of the day, we keep saying this over and over. The top 16 continually prove themselves in these tournaments. However, it's just great now to see this, what seems to be a constant turnover of, the rankings now.
Yeah.
It just shows that all the time that we've been seeing over the years, close shot, blah, 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 take that out of the equation. This sport needs the excitement of one game costing you so much. And unfortunately, it probably hasn't had that enigma about it over the years, because you could probably afford to lose 2-3 games and still stay in there. It's not the case anymore. And you're seeing the top players, literally, we've lost Greenslade, we've lost Wilgris. There's 2 players who's been around a while now, gone. And it's like, pertinent question you asked Rob, would you come back and do it again? It'll be interesting to see. I think Wayne will. Not so sure about Jason. Time will do with that one. So,
yeah.
No, it's great. It is. It's in a good place.
Is it because you've now got the 3 tournaments, makes it a little bit more jeopardy on it?
That helps. Definitely helps. And I just think the standard is just so good now, Rich. Like I say, the lads who are coming through, and Connor, we talked about him banging on the door to get there. And you've got Alan Ramsey, who's been banging on the door. He hasn't quite got through there. All did the same. There's just a great crop of players who Sammy's broke in this year. Sammy will be a winner once he's there.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to want to draw Sam in any of the tournaments. No, it's just good times, I think, and ignore the background noise that you sometimes hear. I think it's in a great place, and hopefully there's potential there to get a 4th tournament, get the Welsh one back, and who knows, maybe get an Irish one. You get 5 on the calendar, starts to become a really, really prosperous potential sponsorship, etc., etc.
Just need that more injection of money, don't we?
That comes with growth, though, Rich, and it's sat stagnant for so long, and you get all the noise of people, blah blah blah. You're not doing this, not playing for much. Blah. That's been created by years of bad management previously, and it's been years of seeing the same faces over and over and over and over again. Why would there be an attraction to a sponsor to see something that's stagnant, not moving forward? Now that things are starting to move, and you've got qualifiers with multiple people every year, as soon as the qualifiers open, they want to be into it. It's great. It's in a great place, and it's got potential. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Somebody comes along and sees that potential and drives it forward to the next point.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. There's always the comments when we do the streaming that there's nobody left in watching the finals. If you turn your memory back to Coatbridge, first final at Coatbridge, 1987, mate. Tony Alcock played David Bryant, best of 9 sets. It went to 5-4. Now, I think that game lasted around about 6 or 7 hours. Can you imagine nowadays if we were streaming that? We'd be locking the place up, wouldn't we? And yet you go back to when that final got played and it was still packed. Yeah. Well, they were still awake, but they were still packed.
Like I say, we'd love to have big crowds in there watching, but as we said on the stream the other day, in this day and age now where, it's not the safest to be out there on a night time. You can be on your sofa watching balls on your TV now, which, wasn't accessible before. Yeah. So maybe people back then did stay around because they wanted to watch these balls. Played in qualifiers before, and I wouldn't have a clue whether there was one person or 100 people in there because my focus is completely on the game. So I didn't need clappy like I'm playing well. I'll know if I'm playing well or not. So the fact that we're getting thousands, 2,000s, as we've seen recently, watching these finals on a Sunday night, I think is testimony and fantastic that's 2,000 people you wouldn't get into a bowls club. So it's a futile argument, in my opinion, because actually you're arguing against the thing that we want, which is more people watching balls.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to use the analogy, but it's like the darts, isn't it? They put the darts on. The
motor series, you get on and you watch the motor series. There's 2 people in a room just tossing darts. It's sport, and it's about you going on, and it's man against man, and it's international series. You'd be disappointed if there was only 20 people watching an international series, but in a game of singles, we're not playing at the World Championships. We're playing a qualifier down a club. Yeah. People have been there for the majority of the day and they just want to get home and relax because they've got work the next day. It's reality, it's life.
They want to go home and listen to an idiot commentating.
Absolutely. You're a good idiot though, mate. You're my favourite idiot.
Right, folks, there you go. We hope you enjoy it. We'll get another one banged out pretty soon, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much for all your support. It's much appreciated. We don't take nothing for granted. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and hope you've enjoyed the show.
This has been a Dodgy production.